Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind, everybody. This is George Wright the Third. I'm your host, here every day with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. And it's been a pretty eventful last week or two. I'm sure by now, if you haven't stocked up on food or whatnot, you're definitely sensing a lot of kind of worry, fear, doubt, uncertainty out in the marketplace and around you. But, as we start this week, I'm really grateful and excited to talk with you about prosperity pillar number 11, because I think this pillar can truly help you to maintain a focus on positivity, optimism, hope during these uncertain and confusing times. So let's dig in just a little bit. Prosperity pillar number 11 is I attract success. I attract success. Now, for those of you that know me and kind of my journey, you know that I've gone through my life and I've learned a lot of lessons from some amazing mentors. But most importantly, how to stop chasing success and learn to leverage the resources and things that are available to me in order to attract that success into my life. And I'd like to share just some of the things I've learned, some of the things I've adopted and picked up. And it's an ongoing learning process. I'm always a learner. So I'm going to start this discussion with my all-time favorite quote by Jim Rohn. So my all-time favorite quote, some of you know this, is success is not to be pursued, it is be attracted by the person you become. Once again, success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person that you become. You really have to learn, and I had to learn the hard way to stop chasing success and start attracting it. Because when I started my career in business at a very early age, right out of high school, actually probably way prior to that, but I felt that the best way to create an amazing life was really just to grind, to work super hard, make a lot of money, get the nice things, and this definitely got me, quickly to levels of success that I could only imagine I would get to. But like many of you, I realized that there was something missing and I wanted more. I wanted to have a happier life, so I started to just live a life that made me happy and create more fulfillment. I started doing things like I traveled and I acquired different toys and I had the big house and I had multiple cars and I did go through a lot of cars and watches and custom suits and things like that would typically be associated with success and lifestyle and happiness. But again, I simply wasn't satisfied. I wasn't as happy, wasn't fulfilled. At one point I wondered if maybe I was just not hardwired for happiness. And I have days where I still think that, to be honest. But when I heard that quote by Jim Rohn, and I started to have more conversations with my mentors, one of my main mentors, Robert Stuberg, I realized that my approach to life, success, and happiness was really the problem. It wasn't me. It was my paradigm and the way I was approaching success. You see, I realized that I was chasing success too hard, and I needed to learn to attract success and happiness and fulfillment into my life. Wayne Dyer did a really cool PBS special, and he kind of likened it unto water, where you try to pick up water, and the more you try to pick up water, the more it just goes through your fingers and through your hands, right? So this was a really strange and difficult concept for me to accept, to understand. Still trouble to this day a little bit. But over time, I've seen time and time again that this principle of attracting success is massive. It is real, and it is something that you can do to increase your happiness level dramatically. So I've sort of adopted the mantra now of both. I adopt a mantra I picked up from T. Harv Eker, which was take action and allow space for attraction. So like Tony Robbins says, take massive action. But I really have implemented allowing space for attraction. And this has helped me to really benefit from both hard work and also leveraging other resources. So you've heard of the concept of the universal law of attraction. The law of attraction is a principle that you've probably heard of because of all the books and the talks and The Secret and all those things. And the law of attraction says that our lives are impacted by universal laws, just as universal and proven as the law of gravity. Okay? And it's estimated that actually the law of attraction has influenced over 1 billion people since it's been reintroduced into the marketplace, because it's always been around, right? But it's a major concept you hear about. But most people, I believe, and I as well, didn't really understand what the law of attraction was and how it works. This is why I want to encourage you to check out trainings from Bob Proctor. He does a great job of simplifying and breaking down the concept of the law of attraction. And one of the biggest things I learned was that the law of attraction is actually two laws, not just one. The first law is the law of vibration, and the second law is the law of attraction. Most people miss the first law. They just think, I'm just going to attract these things into my life, and they don't realize that their life is being influenced by this first law, the law of vibration. So I had a little excerpt that I brought out I want to read to you. It says, the law of vibration is one of the basic laws of the universe. It decrees that everything moves, nothing rests, and we literally live in an ocean of motion. Now, we know this because of the study of the atom and quantum physics and things like this, but this is because everything is made of energy. Your body is made of cells, and cells are with molecules and atoms. What created atoms and molecules are the energies vibrating at different frequencies. So when you think, you activate your brain cells, and that sets up vibration in your body. And when you move your eyes to read this, this sentence, I'm giving this quote from him, you activate your brain cells to do it, which means that the vibration that you are in will dictate what you attract into your life. If you are, for example, let's say you're constantly worried and troubled or anxious, you're going to attract bad things. If you're fearful, you're going to attract fear. If you're depressed, you're going to attract depression. This is why I say to people, you're going to get more of what you focus on. When you focus on problems, when you focus on depression, anxiety, you're going to attract more of it. You've got to learn this lesson because this is working against you, whether you believe it or not. You don't have to believe in the principle of gravity. It is what it is, right? Now, I'll talk to you more about this, effects of action and reaction and things like that later in the week. But I've seen the power and effects of this in my life, and I think it's real, and I really believe you should spend time and learn more about this. Everything in your life is made up of energy. Now, I also want to mention another thing I came across. Albert Einstein, one of the world's greatest proven thinkers, as we know, of all time, was quoted as saying, quote, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not a philosophy. This is physics. So I thought that was really interesting to hear something from such a science-based thought leader. But the more I study quantum physics and success, the more I realize that, these are real solid principles, right? These principles of laws of success and personal development are based in both science and philosophy. They're both. So I highly recommend that if you want more success in your life, you start to understand the principles, laws, and forces that are working to shape your life. You can't just randomly go into the world every day and hope that something's going to change if you're not working to understand what might be working against you or for you. Why not have these things working for you? So what do you need to do? Because it's a lot easier said than done. I believe that you've got to adopt a really strong mindset, as I always say. And there are a few, mental principles and strategies I've learned to adopt in order to really apply this concept of attracting success into my life. And I'll spend more time on these throughout the week, but here's just a couple of the principles that I've adopted that I think you could think about adopting as well. One is that success requires uncertainty. Your degree of success is in direct proportion to your ability to accept uncertainty in your life. Now, the way you do that is you realize and you make the decision that life happens for you, not to you. Life is going to happen for you, not to you. And you also adopt the idea that you're going to surround yourself with positive people, because positive people will maintain that energy. Have you ever walked into a room with positive people and you just get around them and you think, oh man, that's great, and it affects your positivity? Well, that's why you, for example, maybe tune into the Daily Mastermind for the inspiration and motivation, or you get around positive people. But remember, the opposite effect happens as well. When you're around negative people, you may think you're tuning them out, but your brain, your subconscious, your energy level is being affected. I promise you. You've got to get away from the negative people. And, there's ways to do that. We'll talk about more. But another technique I've learned is that you got to learn to shift your paradigm, the way you think. The way you do that is you reframe negative situations. When a negative situation or something happens in your life, learn to literally make a statement to reframe that. In other words, how is this helping you? How is this ultimately going to be your benefit, right? It's like the example I give of a football game. People could be watching the same football game and they're seeing two totally different outcomes from the same event, one negative, one positive, based on what's happening. So obviously we can reframe the situation. Another thing to do is focus on the questions, not the answers. Definitely, I have learned over time to open my mind more through the wonder of questions, not answers. I always wanted the answer, give me the answer, give me the answer. But now I'm starting to learn that the true power is in learning to ask the right questions. And if you do that, and then, my last thought was that you start from solution and abundance, not scarcity mentality like we've talked about before. If you learn to start from solution and abundance, you will create more solutions and abundance, right? So these are just a few of the principles that come to mind right now. I mean, there's many, many others, but I just wanted to give you a few that I had in hopes that they'll inspire you to think about areas that you can improve in your life in order to start attracting success, abundance, and ultimately becoming the best version of yourself. So remember, processing and progressing and building your life and learning to personally develop is one of the proven ways to increase your happiness and fulfillment, because we must always be growing if we want to be happy. We always have to be growing. So that's my message for today. I hope you have an amazing week. I'll see you more tomorrow, and I'll go through some more thoughts and ideas from you. I've got some actually pretty cool interviews this week as well, and from some of the mentors and people in my life. So my name is George Wright III, and as always, you've been spending time with the Daily Mastermind. Have an amazing day, and thanks for tuning in.